Good morning. State of despair. I don't know if you heard about the story about Jonas, Yunus in Arabic. He's mentioned in the Bible, in the Quran. What's his story? This prophet of God was preaching people, preaching. There was no response. There was not only, people, they disbelieve in his divine message. They were mocking him, rejecting him, calling him all sorts of names, nicknames, which is the case of all the prophets of God. The length of time that he was preaching, we don't know. We don't say he became desperate, because the topic is about the state of despair. We don't say prophet of God became desperate. No. When they become angry, it's for God's sake, not because of his egoistic agenda. No. Still, God described him like this. He said, he left them. He left his community. In Arabic, the word angry, ghadab. There's another word, you say, mughadiban, is the action is coming from otherness. They were provoking that. So, as I said, we don't call this weakness from a prophet of God, but there was an example of weakness displayed in the objective world, not in his subjective or psychic world, for us to learn. We see the weakness in God's prophets, just for us to correct ourselves, lessons for us. Because when you think negatively about a prophet, it will affect your life. Be careful, because the puzzle, the frequency, something from that particular prophet is existing within you. You develop it when you take it positively. Don't be surprised. All the prophets of God, there is a frequency within every human being. We don't know about that. He left them. Do you know what happened to him? He was swallowed by a whale. All of them, they saw it in front of their naked eyes. He was praying to God when he was in the whale. You can imagine. He was praying to God. He said, my God, I was wrong. He realized something. He realized what is anger. Anger is inside, and then it is outside and dominates us, and it becomes darkness. We don't see anything. ظلمت نفسي. He said ظلمت, mistaking the word from darkness, obscurity, and he referred that to himself, because they learn. Anyway, then, in front of people, the whale, the animal, rejected Prophet Jonas in front of them, alive. Do you know how he came out of that fish? Out of the whale? Very weak, pale, shaking, very weak. Up to the point God described he couldn't even wave the flies from himself. Wherever he walked, he couldn't move. He was using some plants, some leaves of a plant, al-yaqtin, to keep away the waves, showing you how weak he became. Do you know what happened to his people, his community, when they saw that? They became all believers. They believe in a divine message. What can we deduce from this story? We make an effort to achieve. What impressed people is not how much effort you have made or provided, or how much probably perfection you have impressed people with. Actually, your weakness that affect people more than your strength. Today they tell you what are your strengths, and then you see the person showing and showing off. He and she doesn't realize that he is creating crunches, psychic crunches. It is the case. You hear about the words, should have faith in yourself, you should be. Person is creating, as I said, psychic crunches without realizing it. Okay, now, what is the limit here? In Arabic, I'm talking in general to everybody. It's not referring to a particular community. You hear the Muslims, when they want to do something, they have a departure point, and then they have a destination. They say it unconsciously. Some people they have the presence of mind. Others, it becomes like spontaneous. Before they do something, they use the words, God's willing, if God permits it, if God's allow it, if God's help. It's kind of like they are a disclaimer. You know it. It's better known than Coca-Cola. The word inshallah, everybody knows it. You cannot translate it. It's a mystical word. So they use the word in case if there is something against my agenda. You used it, you leave the state of metamorphism, leave it, let it be. Understand? You cannot make it like rigid, tracing. It's maze, by the way. It's a labyrinth. At the end, when they say, or they give a speech, or they say whatever they want to say, God knows best. I don't know, even this is like God knows best. I don't know. They keep the doors open. I don't know if you have realized in the stock market, for traders, they know this. It's not appropriate example. Just give it. When you trade, you open a position, you have an open position. In case of the market in your mind, after all your studies, you have in your mind that the market is going to be certain direction. You buy and you sell. In future market, you can sell, buy back, So you open a position, but you take your disposal in case your measures, your precautions, in case if the market is against you. What do you put? You put a stop loss. You say, well, like against you, 10 ticks or 20 ticks. You allow the broker or yourself these days through the internet to liquidate your position with small loss, better than losing all your portfolio. It is the same thing when you place an order. You say limit order. I feel satisfied with 10, 20 ticks in case if the market will reverse against me. So 20 ticks, just liquidate my position. This is when it comes on you, the market is on your favor. The action is forward. I want a sculpture to see my portrait in the outside world, or on people sometimes. I want to see my image, my holographic image in people without realizing it. You cannot do that. It's not nobody in this world who is really suffering as the one who wants to impose himself or to see his picture in people. You know it, everybody knows it. I'm saying is what I want to do, what I want to achieve, what I want to do, and I don't go slowly with my kind of agenda without imposing myself on nature. I'm going to give a small example. Hunting, you go hunting and you go fishing. Hunting, you can see the animal. You have, what do you call it? Shotgun, whatever they call it. And you are looking at the animal and you hunt the animal. Question might arise. Who is the master here? Me. You gotta be kidding. Are you sure? Yeah, of course. A rabbit. A rabbit was directing my motions and I claim that I'm the master. A rabbit is moving and I'm moving with him with this. Is he controlling my emotions? He's controlling my emotions and my emotions. You understand my point here? Big deal. Fishing. You throw the net. Do you have any idea what's going to happen? Or what is inside? Do you see it? You don't see it. You are reading a book. You are probably doing something else. What kind of animal is going to come inside the net? Diversity, variety of fish. In the both cases, we make an effort, but this one we made an effort, we stopped. We don't know, we just threw the net. Look what nature has offered you, and look here. This one you didn't do anything, nobody is controlling your gestures or your motions. Talking about fishing. Hunting, I'm kind of crazy. The rabbit left and then there was another animal, I couldn't catch it, and then where is the deer? No, a buffalo, yo, big one. You're gonna kill a buffalo? Get my point? You know your agenda, you are making yourself miserable. It's better to go cool with it. I'm getting back to the state of despair. Action was going to be an explosive explosion in a good way, to be displayed, to be spawned. Then it's against my desires. It rebounds. Well, here outside it was going to achieve one animal. Action, one animal. In life in general, one achievement. And that's it. When the action rebound will develop the intrinsic, not the extrinsic. The intrinsic is a muscle that belongs to me. I don't know if I'm making myself clear. Getting back to the story. Whether towards people, whether within ourselves, we learn from our weakness, from these kind of thing. It's much better. He influenced people with his weakness. It was not programmed. All people became believers because they saw the weakness, not because they saw the force. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.